Hey there folks, Chumpesque here for the first time ever, not bringing you an audio commentary, but actually bringing you an update on Warcraft 3. We're just going to be able to go through the quick patch changes now. I'm just going to talk a bit about each of them, just going to give my opinion. I'll put the text of it in the link in the text below the video as well, if you want to just read along with that. Nothing interesting will be happening here on the screen. So let's just take a quick look. Looks like no changes to undead, but we'll start off with humans. Guard tower armor type change to fortified. This is the one change actually that I think is a bit insane. I think it's possibly so that people try and use siege more versus tower rushes, and obviously so that siege is more effective. But I think the problem with this one change is just that super fast tower rush against elf on maps like Echo Wilds that we saw TH do a lot, and a lot of other humans players do a fair bit, will now become insanely powerful. So I'm not sure what their plan is there, but as I say, this is just on the public test run patch server, so maybe we're going to be seeing that taken out or that changed slightly. Then secondly, siege engine level increased from 2 to 3. In case you don't know what level means, that just means the amount of experience it gives. So this is a huge change, something that lots of people have been asking for a long time, and it's going to mean that siege tanks are going to give a whole bunch of experience. You'll be able to level up things like your panda quicker, and that's really going to help. I think that's a very smart change, the one that's been a long time in the coming. And then Rifleman HP increased from 505 to 535. Interesting there, I think. No one really requested it, but no one really uses Rifleman. Maybe this will be something that spurs people to use them on, or maybe try and add them more into human army compositions. Just maybe adding a couple once you've teched up a bit, and instead of, or you'll be able to use your barracks or something if you don't want knights for some reason. So on to elves. Looks like Warden Shadow Strike mana increased from 65 to 75. This is an interesting choice, really. I think it's possibly just because Shadow Strike has been so useful recently for focusing down heroes. It's not really going to negate the effectiveness of the Warden. Obviously, Elf can still buy Clarity, can still as Moonwall, so mana isn't a huge limitation overall, but maybe just to slightly reduce the amount of Shadow Strike they can get off in one go, sort of. I'm not sure. That's probably not going to make too much of a change, but it will be quite nice for the undeads and the humans out there. And then due to the Talon Faerie Fire duration decreased from 120 to 90 seconds. Interesting there, actually. I think that's probably not going to be a huge change in battles, but what it might actually change is after the battle, like an orc won't need to use Dispel on his army because it'll go away a bit quicker. So maybe it'll save a bit of mana there. Interesting change there. I think lots of people think dots are slightly overpowered, but certainly it's not anything overwhelming, I don't think. And then if we move on to orcs, Windwalk duration reduced from 20-40-60 to 20-35-50. Obviously a slight nerf there to the Windwalk, but not a huge change. It'll certainly benefit other races a fair bit, but it's not going to be absolutely massive. It might actually screw with pro orcs timings, because they know exactly how much time they have left, and so if they're actually 10 seconds off there, they're going to have to be using that little blinky cooldown thing just to make sure that they're not going to be running out of time. Ensnare Cooldown increased from 12 to 16 seconds. That's quite a big change, I think. It's going to mean that you can use a lot less cooldowns. It's going to mean that you probably need 4 raiders now to hold one hero in place, and you can't just use one raider to hold one unit in place indefinitely. So that's quite a big change. And then Spirit Wolf rank 1 wolf level decreased from 3 to 2. That's a huge change. Obviously, I've actually said a lot of times in this in my casts that this is something that needs to be changed, and it finally has been. And that's going to mean that Spirit Wolves give a lot less experience at level 1. So maybe we'll be able to see them being used against, well, actually versus any race. It can be acceptable. Generally against elf it's a bit harder because the elf can dispel the wisps, or can dispel the wolves with wisps, but apart from that, we might be seeing a bit more of the Farseer now, just because that's sort of the real limitation, or it certainly has been, apart from his low health as well. And then if we move on to items quickly, Ivory Tower gold increased from 30 to 40, really slightly. That's 1 second of extra mining. It's not going to be a huge change there, but it is nice that it costs a bit more, because it does save you so much mining time putting those up instead of using workers to build them. Tome of Experience now gives heroes 100 experience points, down from 150. Everyone thinks that experience tomes are too powerful, basically. I basically think they should be gotten rid of, but certainly this is definitely a step in the right direction. And Orb of Venom poison duration decreased from 8 to 6. Orb of Venom, I talk about it all the time actually. It's so strong, and this is really, really going to help. It's going to mean that Orb of Venom's a bit less strong, but certainly it's still going to be able to do a whole lot of damage. And if you're not actually focusing, or if you're not spreading your damage across a whole bunch of units, it's actually not going to change anything at all. So no big problems with that. And then just lots of small fixes. I'm just going to take a quick scan through them. I don't think there's anything really significant to the actual balance of the game. It's more things like bugs and hacks and stuff which have been fixed. And yeah, just taking a look. Apart from a couple things where things like Hex will no longer extend the duration of Metamorphosis, and Hex will no longer disable mana or health regeneration of heroes. There's not too many big things, although I did actually, I thought I saw something significant. Oh yes, here it is. You can now purchase items from shops while hexed. I find that really odd, but I guess it's not too bad a change. I think it's probably not one that I would have changed, but apart from that, I really am liking this patch. I think it fixes a lot of huge things, with the exception of that guard tower armor. I think it's a fantastic patch. I think it's really a sign that Blizzard has been listening to the community, or maybe just to me, but certainly lots of things that I wanted to be changed are encompassed here. And the one thing that's sort of not been changed is obviously critical strike, which is one of the sort of the biggest gripes of people, but I think it's really tricky to find a way to actually change that without just completely nerfing it. So I really hope you enjoyed this commentary. Please feel free to just comment below, say what you think about the patch, say if you think it's sort of Warcraft 3 going in the right direction or not, and I'll try and take a look at the comments in a couple of days and reply to any interesting topics I see. So thanks for watching, folks, and I'll bring you some more games as soon as I've played a couple games on this new patch. Thanks.